Good morning, and welcome to the Advanced Drama Classes production of Tennessee Williams's The Glass Menagerie. What you're about to watch is a custom cutting done by our class of the full-length production. We've taken a 2-hour play and reduced it to 35 minutes. Our story follows the Wingfield family and their struggles with accessing the American dream. This cutting focuses on their daughter, Laura, who, like a lot of you, is desperately trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. This production has 5 scenes, and different actors will play the same character. You will know the characters are the same because of the costume. Our production begins with a short narration that sets the scene. We hope you enjoy our show.
The Wingfield apartment is in the rear of the building facing an alleyway. It is entered by a fire escape, a structure that has a touch of accidental poetic truth. All those buildings are always burning with human desperation. The story begins with the dark, grim rear wall of the Wingfield tenement, and this is when our show begins.
Deception. Why, Laura, how old are you?
Mother, you know how old I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were an adult. I must have been mistaken.
Mother, please don't stare at me like that.
Stopped off at Rubicon's Business College to talk to your teachers about your cold and see what progress you were making down there. Oh, I introduced myself to your typing instructor as your mother, and she said, Wingfield? Why, we don't have any students under that name here. I assured her she did, and that you'd been going to school here since early in January. I wonder, she said, if you could be talking about that terribly shy little girl who dropped off after only 2 days' attendance. I said, no, my daughter Laura has been going to school here every day for the past 6 weeks. Excuse me, she said as she got out her attendance book. And there it was, your name, unmistakably printed, all the days you had been marked absent until she decided that you had dropped out of college. I said, no, there must be a mistake, some mix-up with the records. She said, no, I remember her perfectly now. Her hand shook so terribly that she couldn't hit the right keys. She got so sick on the first speed test that she almost had to be carried out to the washroom. She never came back after that. We phoned the house but got no answer. $50 tuition, Laura. All of my hopes and ambitions for you. Gone up the spout like that. Laura, where have you been going when you've been telling me you've been off at business college?
I've been walking.
That's not true.
It is. I've just been walking.
Walking. Deliberately courting pneumonia in that light coat? Where have you been walking to?
All sorts of places. The park mostly.
Even after you've been catching that cold?
It was the lesser of two evils, Mother. I couldn't go back up there. I threw up on the floor.
You mean to be telling me that from 7:30 till after 5 every day that you've been out walking at the park instead of going to business college?
It's not as bad as it sounds. I went inside places to get warmed up.
Inside where?
Well, I went to the art museum and the birdhouses at the zoo. I saw the penguins every day. Sometimes I even went without lunch and went to the movies. Lately I've been going to the jewel box, that big glass house where they grow the tropical flowers.
And you did this just to deceive me. All for deception. Why?
Mother, when you're disappointed, you get this awful, suffering look on your face. Kind of like that picture of Jesus' mother at the museum.
Oh, hush! I couldn't face it. So where does this leave us? To stay at home and watch the parades go by? Amuse ourselves with the glass menagerie, darling? Why, it's the only alternative I can think of. Well, some girls do marry. Haven't you ever liked some boy?
Yeah, I liked one once. I came across his picture a while ago.
He gave you his picture?
No, it was in the yearbook.
Oh, a high school boy.
Yeah, his name was Jim. Here he is in the Pirates of Penzance.
The what?
The operetta the senior class put on. He had such a wonderful voice. We sat across the aisle from each other's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the odd. Here he is with a silver cup for debating. You see his grin?
He must have had a jolly disposition.
He used to call me Blue Roses.
Why did he call you a name such as that?
Whenever I had that attack of pleurosis, when I had gotten back to school, he'd ask me what was the matter. I said, well, I had pleurosis. And he thought I had said blue roses. So then any time after that, he'd holler, hello, Blue Roses. I never really did like the girl he went out with much, Emily Meisenbach. Emily was the best dressed girl at Solden. I never really did think of her as being sincere. It says here in the personal section they're engaged. That's 6 years ago now. They ought to be married.
Well, girls who aren't cut out for business college do typically end up marrying some nice man. Sister, that's what you'll do.
But Mother,
Yes?
I'm crippled.
Oh, nonsense, Laura. Why, you're not crippled. You just have a little defect. Hardly noticeable, even. When people have some slight disadvantage like that, they cultivate other things to make up for it. They develop charm and vivacity and charm. That's all you'll have to do. One thing your father had plenty of was charm. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
All right, but I don't shine. Mother, I apologize, Mother. I'm sorry for what I said, for everything I said. I didn't mean it.
My devotions made me a witch, and so I make myself hateful to my children.
No, you don't.
I worry so much. Don't sleep. It makes me nervous.
I understand that.
All these years I've had to put up a solitary battle, but you're my right-hand bower. Don't fall down, don't fail.
I try, Mother.
Try and you will succeed. Why, you're just full of natural endowments. Both of my children, they're unusual children. Don't you think I know it? I'm so proud, happy, and feel so much to be thankful for, but promise me one thing, son.
What, Mother?
Promise me you will never be a drunkard.
I will never be a drunkard, Mother.
That's what's frightened me so. You'd be drinking. Eat a bowl of Purina.
Just coffee, Mother.
Shredded wheat biscuit?
No, Mother, just coffee.
You can't go to work on an empty stomach. You've got 10 minutes. Don't gulp. Drinking too hot liquids makes cancer of the stomach. Put cream in.
No, thank you.
To cool it.
No. No, thank you. I just want it black.
I know that, but it's not good for you. We have to do all that we can do to build ourselves up in these trying times we live in. All that we have to cling to is each other. That's why it's so important to... Tom, I sent out your sister so I could discuss something with you.
What is it, Mother? What do you want to discuss?
Laura.
Oh. Laura.
You know how she is. So quiet, but still water runs deep. I think she notices things, then she broods about them. A few days ago, I came in and she was crying.
What about?
You.
Me?
She has this idea that you're not happy here.
Give her that idea.
What gives her any idea? However, you do act strangely. I'm not criticizing, understand that. I know your ambitions do not lie in the warehouse, and that like everybody else in the whole wide world, you've had to make sacrifices, but Tom, life's not easy. It calls for Spartan endurance. There's so many things in my heart that I cannot describe to you. But Laura says that you hate the apartment and that you go out at nights to get away from it. Is that true?
No. You say there's so much in your heart you can't describe to me. That's true to me, too. There's so much in my heart that I can't describe to you. So let's just respect each
But
other.
why? Why, Tom, are you always so restless? Where do you go to nights?
I go to the movies.
Why do you go to the movies so much, Tom?
I go to the movies because I like adventure. Adventure isn't something I get much of at work, so I go to the movies.
But Tom, you go to the movies entirely too much.
I like a lot of adventure.
Most young men find adventure in their careers.
Well, then most young men are not employed in a warehouse.
The world is full of young men employed in warehouses and factories and offices.
Do all of them find adventure in their careers?
They do or they do without it. Not everybody has a craze for adventure.
Man is by instinct a lover, a hunter, a fighter, and none of those instincts are given much play at the warehouse. You want me to punch in late at work, Mother?
You have 5 minutes. I want to talk about Laura.
All right, what about Laura?
We have to make some plans and provisions for her. She's older than you 2 years, and nothing has happened. She just drifts along, doing nothing. It frightens me terribly how she just drifts along.
Maybe she's the type that people call homegirls.
There's no such type, and if there is, it's a pity. That is unless the home is hers, with a husband.
What?
Oh, I can see the handwriting on the wall as plainly as I can see the nose in front of my face. It's terrifying. More and more you remind me of your father. He was out all hours with no explanation, then left. Goodbye, and me with the bag to hold. I saw the letter you got from Merchant Marine. I know what you're dreaming of. I'm not standing here blindfolded to it. Very well, Ben, then do it. If not till there's somebody here to take your place.
What do you mean?
What I mean is as soon as Laura's got somebody to take care of her, married, on her own, independent, why then you're free to go wherever you please, on land, on sea, whichever way the wind blows you. But until that time, you have to look out for your sister.
Why are you trembling?
Mother, you've always made me so nervous.
I don't understand you, Laura. You can't be satisfied just staying at home, and whenever I try to arrange something for you, you just seem to resist it. Now, take a look at you. No, wait just a minute. I have an idea.
What is it now, Mother? What are you doing?
They call them gay deceivers.
I won't wear them.
You will.
Why should I?
Because to be painfully honest, your chest is flat.
You make it seem like we were setting a trap.
All pretty girls are a pretty trap, and men expect them to be. Now, take a look at yourself. This is the prettiest you'll ever be. I gave your brother some spare change so him and Mr. O'Connor could take the service car home.
What did you say his name was?
O'Connor?
What is his first name?
I don't remember. Oh, yes I do. It was Jim.
Not Jim.
Yes, it was Jim.
Are
I've
you
never known a Jim that wasn't nice.
Are you sure his name is Jim O'Connor?
Yes, why?
Is he the one that Tom used to know in high school?
I don't know. I think he just got to know him at the warehouse.
There was a Jim O'Connor we both knew in high school. If that is the one that Tom is bringing to dinner, you'll have to excuse me. I won't come to the table.
What sort of nonsense is this?
You asked me once if I ever liked the boy. Don't you remember I showed you his picture?
The boy from the yearbook?
Yes, that boy.
Laura, were you in love with that boy?
I don't know, Mother. All I know is I couldn't show up at the table even if it was him.
It's not the least bit likely that'll be him, and whether it is or not, you'll still have to come to the table. You won't be excused.
I'll have to be, Mother.
Alright. Well, you sit there and compose yourself until they come. Tom has forgotten his keys, so you'll have to let him in whenever they come.
Oh, Mother, you answer the door.
I can't. I'll be in the kitchen, busy.
Oh, Mother, please, you answer it. I won't do it.
I have to go fix the dressing for the salmon. Fuss, silliness, over a gentleman caller.
Hello there, Laura.
Hello.
How you feeling? Better?
Yes, thank you.
That's good. I like to sit on the floor. Mind if I do?
Oh, no.
Hand me a pillow?
What?
A pillow.
Oh,
What about you? Don't you like to sit on the floor?
oh, yes.
Why don't you?
I will.
There. Comfortable?
Yes.
So am I. Comfortable as a cow. Your brother tells me you're shy. Is that right, Laura?
I don't know.
Well, I judge you to be a fashion type. I think that's a pretty good type to be.
Mr. O'Connor, have you kept up with your singing?
Singing. Me.
Yes, I remember what a beautiful voice you had.
You say you've heard me sing.
Yes. Very often.
You know, I have a feeling I remembered you when I answered the door, but the name I was going to call you, it wasn't a name.
Wasn't it Blue Roses?
Blue Roses. My gosh, yes, it was Blue Roses. I didn't associate with high school one way or the other, but that's where it was. It was high school. Gosh, I'm sorry.
I didn't expect you to. Barely.
Didn't we have a class in something together?
Yes.
And that class, it was...
Singing, of course. I sat across from you in the odd. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Now I remember you. You always came in late.
Yes. I had a terrible time getting up the stairs. I had that brace on my leg. It clumped so loud.
I didn't hear any clumping.
To me, it sounded like thunder.
Well. I never heard it. So, did you finish high school?
I didn't go back.
You mean you dropped out?
I had bad grades in my final examinations. How's Emily Weisenbach getting along?
Oh, that crowdhead.
Why'd you call her that?
That's what she was.
It said in the personal section that you were engaged.
Yeah, but I didn't believe that propaganda.
It wasn't the truth?
Only in Emily's optimistic opinion.
Oh.
You know what I judge to be your problem, Laura? Inferiority complex. That's what they call it when someone low rates themselves. That's what I judge to be your principal issue. A lack of confidence in yourself as a person. You know what my strong advice to you is? Think of yourself as superior in some way.
In what way would I think?
Look about you, Laura. What do you see? A world full of ordinary people. All of them born and all of them gonna die. Now, which one of them has 1/10 of your good points? Everybody excels in some one thing, some in many. All you have to do is find out in what. Isn't there something you take more interest in than anything else?
Well, I do, as I said, have my glass collection.
Glass collection. I'm not right sure I know what you mean.
Little articles of it. They're ornaments mostly. Little glass animals. The tiniest thing in the world. Oh, be careful. If you breathe, it breaks.
Oh, I better not touch it. I'm pretty clumsy with things.
Go on. I trust you with them. See, you're holding them gently. Hold them in the light. They love the light.
Sure does shine.
I shouldn't be partial, but this one's my favorite.
What sort of a thing is this one supposed to be?
Don't you see the single horn on his forehead?
A unicorn, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Unicorns aren't they extinct in the modern world?
I know.
Well, if I must be a sort of lonesome.
Well, if he doesn't complain about it much.
How can you tell?
I haven't heard any arguments among them.
No arguments, huh? That's a good sign. Where shall I set?
Oh, put them on the couch. They like a change of scenery once in a while.
Well, isn't the air delightful after the shower? Tonight, I'm rejuvenated. The gaiety of the occasion, Mr. O'Connor. Well, now you found your way, I want you to be a very frequent caller. Not just occasional, but all the time. Oh, we're gonna have a lot of gay times together. I can just see them coming. Just breathe that air. So fresh, and the moon's so pretty.
The fact of the matter is, I've got to be going.
Going now? You're joking. It's only the shank of the evening, Mr. O'Connor.
Well, you know how it is.
You mean you're a young working man and you need to keep working men's hours?
I've got a couple of time clocks to punch, Mrs. Wingfield. One at morning, another at night.
My, but you are ambitious. You work at night, too?
No, ma'am, not work, but Betty.
Betty? Who's Betty?
Oh, just a girl. The girl I go steady with.
Oh! Is it a serious romance, Mr. O'Connor?
We're going to be married the second Sunday in June.
Oh! How nice. Tom didn't mention you were engaged to be married.
Well, the cat's not out of the bag at the warehouse yet. You know how they are. They call you Romeo and stuff like that. Well, it's been a wonderful evening, Mrs. Wingfield. I guess this is what they mean by Southern hospitality.
Oh, it really wasn't anything at all.
I hope it don't seem like I'm rushing off, but I promised Betty I'd pick her up at the Wabash Depot, and by the time I get my jalopy down there, our train will be in, and some women are pretty upset if you keep them waiting.
Oh yes, I know, the tyranny of women. Well, goodbye, Mr. O'Connor. I wish you luck, happiness, and success, all three of them.
So long, Shakespeare. Thanks again, Mrs. Wingfield. Good night.
Well, well, well. Things have a way of turning out so badly. Our gentleman caller was engaged to be married. Tom!
Yes, Mother?
Come in here a minute. I want to tell you something awfully funny.
Has the gentleman caller gotten away already?
The gentleman caller has made an early departure. What an awfully funny joke you played on us.
How do you mean?
You didn't mention he was engaged to be married.
Jim, engaged.
That's what he just informed
I'll
us.
be jiggered. I didn't know about that.
That seems very peculiar.
What's peculiar about it?
Didn't you call him your best friend down at the warehouse?
He is, but how did I know?
It seems extremely peculiar you wouldn't know your best friend was going to be married.
The warehouse is where I work, not where I know things about people.
You don't know things anywhere. You live in a dream. You manufacture illusions. Where are you going?
I'm going to the movies.
That's right. Now that you've had us make such fools of ourselves, all the effort, the preparations, and all the expense, all for what? To entertain some other girl's fiance? Go to the movies, go. Don't think about us. A mother deserted, an unmarried sister who has no job. Go to the movies. I don't care.
All right, I will. The more you shout about my selfishness to me, the quicker I'll go, and I won't go to the movies.
Go then. Then go to the moon, you selfish dreamer.
I didn't go to the moon, I went much farther, for time is the longest distance between two places. Not long after that, I was fired for writing a poem on the lid of a shoebox. I left St. Louis. I descended the steps of his fire escape for a last time, following from then on in my father's footsteps, attempting to find in motion what was lost in space. I traveled around a great deal. The city swept about me like dead leaves, leaves that were brightly colored but torn away from the branches. I would have stopped, but I was pursued by something. Perhaps it was a familiar bit of music. Perhaps just a piece of transparent glass. Perhaps I'm walking along the street at night in some strange city before I have found companions. I pass the lighted window of a shop where perfume is sold. The window is filled with pieces of colorful glass, tiny transparent bottles in delicate colors like bits of a shattered rainbow. Then, all at once, my sister touches my shoulder. I turn around and I look her in the eyes. Oh, Laura, Laura, I tried so hard to leave you behind, but I am more faithful than I intended to be. I reach for a cigarette, I cross the street, I run to the movies or a bar, I buy a drink, I speak to the nearest stranger, anything that can blow your candles out. For nowadays, the world is lit by lightning. Blow out your candles, Laura, and so goodbye.